There's definitely one back there that is getting close, and then there's one up here. Hello, howdy, and welcome back to another grow update. I'm Catherine, the Aerogarden homesteader. I really do feel like the lettuce is actually winding down. I have been harvesting from it, not extensively, you know, we've kind of been backing off on the salads a little bit, but I do feel like I'm starting to get slightly more browning on the leaves. I don't feel like they've gotten a lot bigger. This one has a little bit of tip burn going on. I think the kale is actually blocking the airflow now because the kale is in front of the fan. But, you know, it is what it is. The kale has been doing really well. This one, I keep waiting for more side growth, but it's just not, I don't know if you can tell, they're just not really growing. They've kind of turned into these little buds, but kind of wonder if they're still waiting for these last two leaves to come off. And then the ones here inside have started really pushing out the bushy growth, but they're just more going up than really, I don't know, it's hard to say. It's hard to say if it was a successful experiment or not. It did stop some of the upward growth, but it is still growing up. So let's check on the cabbage. Oh, look at that head. Oh my gosh, it's so cute! I really can't wait to pick this. This one, here, let's go on the other side and look inside. This one, these two leaves have finally come together, so I do feel like it is just starting its head formation. So yeah, well, we'll see. It's pretty cool. Okay, down to the bunching onions, and you will see I finally harvested the leeks. Oh my gosh, it made a really good soup. I actually think that video is going to be coming out in middle of February, so make sure you go check that out. And if you didn't go check out that sourdough, the fake sourdough bread recipe I put out on Saturday, go check that one out too. It goes really well with the soup. So, the bunching onions are doing pretty good. They're pushing out some growth. I don't know for how much longer they'll go because they are kind of looking a little poorly. This was a bit of an experiment. I wasn't sure I could actually get the pod out, and I'll probably have to sacrifice the pod. I don't think I'll be able to get this out of the pod. But I suspected they're like onions and that they would start pushing out new growth, and they did. So I don't know if I could get another leek out of it, per se, but, you know, if I just wanted to put a little bit of leek in something, I probably could. This is the only other little green onion, bunching onion, that made it. The other one, sadly, didn't. So, but I'll let this go a little bit longer, but then I'll probably move the cabbage down here. So, we'll see. I definitely need the space. So, the peppers. I did harvest that big Anaheim, or whatever it was. I'll have to check. But I got a few more. There's another, ooh, another nice big one back there I haven't seen. Oops, let me stick my hand in the way. There we go. There's another nice big one back there forming, so that's pretty good. And I got, as you saw here, a couple of ones forming and changing color, I guess. I did have a couple fall off, so that's kind of sad. And then these ones here, let me see. This one is in Anaheim, this one is in Anaheim, so is the one behind it, but this one here is a different one. Coming from this one that is looking awesome. Now, I did step up the feed on this plant, you know, this harvest, or this bounty as well. So this one's starting to put out a bunch of new flowers, a bunch of new growth. Like, there's a whole bunch of new growth back there. But it is kind of crowding out the cherry tomato, which I had a salad the other day and totally forgot to harvest these. Like, what was I thinking? Oh well, some of this growth is kind of drying up a little bit, so I wonder if it's struggling for light. It is shorter, so the light is a bit too high for it compared to, you know, the pepper plants that's currently taking up a whole bunch of space. So I definitely think this needs to get removed, but I don't know if it's just kind of too late for that right now. Well, I'll just have to see. I need space for it. Okay, over here. Over here we have we have some ripe tomatoes in there almost. Okay, so this is the Amish paste and the Romas. I don't know if you can see. There's two back there. It's hard to tell with that red pole, but there's definitely one back there that is getting close. And then there's one up here. And there's another one over here, so that's good. Maybe another week or so, I can make another bowl of salsa. We've literally been making them small bowls at a time. Okay, peppers. This pepper is starting to get a little out of hand. So I might need to just prune off some of this, but I'm leery of stopping any of the growth because I'm afraid I'll stunt some of the peppers. I'm really anxious for a pepper to change color, and I don't see any of them changing color yet because I want to seed save on this one. I really want to seed save on this one, so I'm hoping that I was successful in pollinating them. But I did pick one, and I used it in like a what do you call it? A chicken chili. It was really good, but I don't think it was very spicy. I couldn't really tell. So, and over here we have the mystery globe tomato. Not sure what this is. I only got the one here. And the Romas. I think they're, well, they could be Amish paste, but I think they're Romas actually. It's pushing out a lot of new growth. I have this branch here. There's a bunch of growth on it. This is actually a growth branch that I bent down under the trellis to sort of contain it, and it doesn't want to be contained. It's going back up. This one is kind of just sprouting off, doing its own thing. I got this one over here. So I did increase the food that it's getting. So, well, yeah, it's a little too big for a bounty. So over here, the peppers. Let me see, this is the little snacking pepper, I think. Oh, this is the Pretty and Sweet. Pretty and Sweet's doing really well. It's actually starting to push out some more growth, some more flowers. I see some flowers over here, some more flowers here, there's a bunch back here. So this branch all looks new. It's all really nice. So it's been doing really well. Now the problem is, I do think that the spider mites have made it over here. So I'm starting to see evidence of it. But the increased food has been doing really well with the plants. This whole section is all like new growth, and I can see a whole bunch of flower buds in there. Plus it still has some peppers down here that I can still harvest. But it is shading out this poor baby bell, which is a shame because I was kind of looking forward to that. I think it'll be a good, mild, but small pepper. Although these snacking peppers were really good. The ones that are, oh, let me put a leaf in the way. The ones that are currently on here, I did notice that they are, the tips, let me see, can I show you? The tips are starting to dry out, so I think they've been on a little too long. So that means I wasn't able to keep up with them. I got a dry leaf in here. So, but yeah, I think 2 pepper plants per bounty would probably be good, and probably the same pepper plant so that it can match the growth. Because this one in the middle, this snacking pepper, really outgrew. I knew that the Pretty and Sweet was a smaller pepper, but I didn't realize the snacking one was going to get so big, and so it really outgrew everything and shaded it all out, and I think it really stunted this poor baby bell in the back. So, the broccoli. Broccoli is doing great. So, it's pushing out lots of side growth, a lot more than I expected actually. Kind of expected it would just push out a little bit and then be like, okay, I'm done, but got lots of, I have this one back here. So I think what'll happen is when I wind down the lettuce and the kale, and I probably won't wind down the kale, honestly, that's a lot of kale. But when I wind all these down, I'll probably take out the broccoli at the same time. This kale is doing good. It's actually doing really good. I have not been harvesting from it. I probably should. So, I think 2 kale plants is a good number for me. I think 4 was a little overboard. Okay. This is I believe this is the Buttercrunch. So this one's getting really good airflow. It's doing really well. This one wasn't doing very well for a while. Now all of a sudden, it seems like all of this stuff in the middle, it's doing really well. So, oh, it's got 2 heads too. I don't know how that happened, but it's got 2 heads forming. So that's okay. And then, this is actually the last of the lettuce on this one because I harvested that other one. It had started doing its thing where it was bolting, so I just took it out and ate it. So I'll let the rest of these go for a little bit longer, and then I'll have to take them out and eat them up. So I'll probably get maybe 2 or 3 more salads out of it and call the lettuce done. So down below in the show notes, I tried to go through and put down the names of all of the seeds that I planted. I do believe I missed the celery. I thought of that after the fact. Oh, I didn't put the celery in. So I'll try to get the celery added in, and I think there is another one I'm missing as well, but I'm not 100% sure. So if you go through the list and you notice something's missing and you want to know what it is, let me know and I will go and add that. So here I have the chives, I have the rosemary. I think I'm slightly overwatering these. I don't have holes in the bottom of these ones, so I've been top watering, and it's a little hard to judge how much water is in them. These are the onions. I'm gonna have to get rid of this fan. These are the onions, and I did figure out what was growing in this one. It wasn't onion, it was celery, so that's why it was a little bit behind. But I definitely need to keep an eye on water levels because the soil is starting to dry out a little bit on this one. And the rest of them look pretty good. So, although these ones, I don't know why, some of these fell over. I do find I have a hard time with some of the onions where it's like I don't know if I don't put them in deep enough, but they either sprout upside down, which is weird. You see these roots trying to grow up into the air, or they do this thing where the seed, I guess, just wasn't deep enough and they don't push into the dirt, they just push up. So, but this is how they're doing. They're doing pretty good. I've had the dome off for a little while now. They still have their little seed things on top, but I don't know, those don't really ever fall off. Okay, and then over here we actually have some green peppers. The asparagus, I don't think that's asparagus, I think that is actually a weed, oddly enough, so I'll have to pull that up, and that, I'll have to keep an eye on that, make sure that's not a weed, but it would be cool if I had asparagus coming up. But yeah, so we got pepper. I am going to leave the dome on for a while longer, just so that I can make sure some of these other ones start coming up, but it's happening. Okay, so just a little bit of shopkeeping. For the next 2 to 3 weeks, there will be no garden prep updates. There's just nothing happening in the garden right now that I know of. If something comes up and I'm like, oh yeah, I can make that into a video, I'll do that. But I'm not planting any seeds until almost the middle of February, which is when I will be doing my tomato seeds. So if you're not seed starting yet with me, because you just don't do onions or peppers, go get your tomato seeds. So if you're near zone 7A or B, or if you're in zone 7-ish, then you can start with me. If you're not, just calculate which one you're in so that we can sort of start them together. You just watch the video at the appropriate time. So that is that. And check out the show notes below. I got all the seeds listed that I planted in the Aerogarden Winter Garden. So not these ones. These ones, I'll kind of tell you which ones I'm doing as I'm doing them, and then I'll try to put those down in the show notes later. So that is how that is going. Make sure you check out the leek soup video. It's probably coming out in about 2 weeks, I think, on a Thursday. And the bread video, if you wanted to get into sourdough, that's a really good bread recipe that doesn't require sourdough. So go check that one out. It was really good. In fact, I demolished the loaf in like 3 days. I think I got like just a couple of pieces left. So that's how good that was. If you found this video useful, make sure you like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. It really helps me out. I'm such a small channel right now that I really do need those likes, shares, and subscriptions. So please help me out. And I will see you next time on the Aerogarden Homestead.